Welcome to Artini, where happy hour meets art history. Today, we're going to talk about Bob Ross. But before we talk about Bob Ross, I'm Kim Ratliff, and this is my co-host,
Tammy Bruce.
And she's in Panama City, Florida, and I'm in Hawaii. So a little bit about us, how we met, or how we know each other, aren't me cute or whatever. We know each other from working together, Mai Tais and Monet, right?
Correct. Started a little business called Mai Tais and Monet when we were in Hawaii, and Kim applied for one of the positions we had open, and I talked to her on the phone, and I realized she was my sister from another mister because we both have ADHD, and we were talking over each other, round in circles, back and forth, and I'm like, oh my God, we've got to hire her on the spot. I've never met her in person, and we've become good friends ever since.
Right? I started,
And
you started the business in 2010?
Yes.
And then I joined in 2013.
Yes.
And then you moved in 18 or 17 or before that? Oh, probably
15.
15?
14, 15, somewhere in there.
14, 15. Oh, it was 14 because we moved.
14.
You moved out of Eva Beach 14.
And
we
you
moved into Eva Beach and went down. And then I managed this location till then I managed this location for
till COVID.
Till COVID.
Yeah, because COVID kind of took us out because we were the first mobile paint party business in Hawaii. We would come to you. So
and
that's where we're at.
I feel when I go through the Instagram and Facebook, we were still, like the biggest one outside of the one that had the brick and mortar.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of individual artists doing it now.
Yeah. But
we
were an actual...
good because...
Oh, yeah. Do your thing.
You know, everyone's got different style and it's fun, and why not?
It's like being a plumber. You know, you don't become a plumber because there's already 5 plumbers out there. You become a plumber anyway if that's your passion. You're a painter.
Right.
You don't not paint because there's 5 other painters out there. You just do it.
But I am the only one that can do mobile large groups, though.
There you go.
Because of all Mai Tais and Monet supply. and for years of having experience. No, I can do what you did by the time you left. I can manage I could probably do 3 sets of 30 people conference if I needed to. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can totally do that.
Without, as long as you have help. I mean.
Yeah. Just little help. But I could do that without anxiety.
Running water. Yeah.
Without stress. I can totally.
What are you drinking?
I mastered it. I have an Empress Gin.
Oh, that sounds good.
Empress Gin and tonic.
Vodka and something. Vodka and apple cider
and liquid IV.
There you go. Something. It's been a
day.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. All righty then.
All right.
How about we get started in our little happy tree notes?
There you go.
So
I'll get us good notes.
Yeah. I'll get us started here. So we watched Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed. We went way down. Yeah. We did the full documentary, not the fluffy one on.
No.
You did the one on?
No, I didn't do that one. But
we didn't do
went down
I have watched the one on YouTube, but this one is official. Yeah. So this one was directed by Joshua Raffay. This 92-minute American documentary premiered on Netflix on August 2021. So we probably all watched it during COVID.
Actually, I didn't even know it was out there, but
I watched it then. I was like, ooh.
Well, I remember there being a big hubbub about nobody buy anything Bob Ross. It doesn't go to the family. I remember all that. I just didn't realize there was a documentary about it. I didn't know where all that came from.
Yeah, well, this is where all that came from. And you too, as a listener, will know by the end of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the subject did focus on, it explores the life of Bob Ross, beloved host of the Joy of Painting and the sequential battle over control over his image and brand after his death. In a nutshell.
Which is all pretty crappy. If you stop and think about it, it's really kind of sad.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still thought he was alive.
That's the crazy part. That's that they didn't want anybody to know. That's the part.
Yeah.
That just
there's a reason why people still thought he was alive going into COVID even.
So, yeah.
The Artist's Beginnings, his life and legacy of Bob Ross. Robert Norman Ross is his formal name. He was a military brat, dad, builder. His mom taught him how to love wildlife. A fun fact, you didn't catch this, I don't know. I wonder if you caught this. He lost his left pointer finger helping his dad, so he used his left hand to hold his palate, and it hid the missing digit. It was his pointer finger.
But wasn't he right-handed anyway when you hold it with your left hand?
Mm-hmm. But
I mean, I
it's
missed
just
the
that
part
it-
where he lost his finger. But I
yeah,
mean,
it hid that he lost
Yeah.
his finger. No one
so
ever
no one
knew
really
it.
knew.
Yeah, that's why it's a fun fact.
Or they would have called him Stubby. Just kidding.
Mm, okay, so my notes say they weren't a wealthy family. They divorced his parents divorced to remarry each other 10 years later. The dad died shortly after that.
Bob Ross's parents?
His parents. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, we'll get to that, but I know what you're thinking. Yeah, Bob wasn't a great student, so he ended up doing 18 years in the Air Force, married, had a son named Stephen who also painted as a kid, and he narrates this documentary, right?
Yes. Yep.
And then Bob himself had a divorce, and he and his son continued painting. He thought his son painted better than he did. Right.
Well, I
Yeah.
think he wanted to pass, well, it says it in there. He wanted to pass his legacy on to his son. So he was always propping his son up. And the thing I thought was really crazy is he had said one time that he downplayed a lot of the things he could do to make his son look like a better artist than him, which was really strange. I mean, to me, it
Well-
would be very strange. He wanted to pass, but Stephen didn't want the legacy at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning,
Yeah.
he didn't want that legacy. He did not want to be able to jump into his dad's shoes.
Right.
That was
He
kind of
enjoyed painting, and he didn't. And I see that. I can see that.
Yeah, because if you've seen his paintings, they're really dark.
Yeah.
Like his personal, not the ones that he follows his dad on, but the ones,
his personal ones.
his
yeah.
personal ones, they're all the figures are black, like shaded
It
black.
could have
and there's
also been during that time. I wonder what they're dated.
I don't know. Or he may have made them for the documentary.
Right.
That could have
Maybe.
been, that could be, because I tried checking out his website to see what he was about.
Mm-hmm. What'd
He's
you find
interesting.
out? Yeah.
He went through a really, I mean, it'll tell you in the documentary, he went through a really bad depression, and he,
Yeah.
you know, wanted to do what his dad was doing. He did a lot of things his dad did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. So Bob remarried. He lived in Alaska. He bartended part-time while selling his artwork, like in the bar as well, which is probably what I would have been doing if I never married my husband and ever left Rhode Island at my dad's bar.
Exactly.
And none of that would match where it was being shown.
Oh, exactly. Like with what you're saying, I think his military background had a lot to do with what he painted, because he loved Alaska. You know what I mean? Like, and pretty much all of his paintings were of some part of Alaska. And I know, I
Mhm.
think we've talked about this before. You've seen that thing where you have the progression of all of his paintings is like you're going on a journey if you put them in order. That was
Right.
kind of neat.
That was neat. All right.
But yeah. So
I think the same. Like even here, I live in Hawaii, so my artwork is going to reflect Hawaii, but I do want to do a Rhode Island collection of like landmarks and stuff from my own state.
yeah, I mean, I can see that. But like with me, I'm from a coastal town. So everything is coastal, and we've only lived in coastal areas.
Me too.
So the Hawaii coastal, the Mississippi coastal, the Florida coastal, they all kind of go together. Now, the
Mhm.
Florida coastal and Mississippi are more seafood related, vices the flowers and the volcanoes and the, that kind of thing. But it's all,
Right. Yeah.
I think it influenced
You
him a
paint
lot.
what you know,
Right.
really.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. I got to get to that in a minute.
All right.
But
So
go ahead.
anyway, all right, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
All right. So we served 20 years in the Air Force and began painting during this time. He was stationed in Alaska, where landscapes inspired much of his work. He adopted the wet on wet paint technique from Bill Alexander, allowing rapid creation of landscapes on live TV. Bob Alexander was
Well,
from Germany,
right.
and he was on PBS, and it was a wet on wet technique, layering and building on the canvas. Bob came up with the, only happy little accidents. But he wasn't the first one. Bill wasn't the first one to do wet on wet. I mean, it actually, when
No.
I looked it up, yeah, it actually goes back to like ancient times.
So, how did you like the wet on wet technique that he did?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I do it.
We do too. Yeah.
I do it.
With your acrylic painting, do you ever use the slow medium that slows things down so you can paint longer with it?
No, because I've been using like wood canvas, and it's like a different dynamic.
Okay. Well,
With
there's a medium out
and the
there.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a slow drying medium. I'll send you
okay.
a thing of it, and you can
Oh,
mix
okay.
it with
Well,
your
I mean,
acrylics, and it slow dries so you can add. Because the reason they did this al primera was because they could add in pieces of hair, and they could add in things. It blended because when you painted it, it would kind of mesh in
right,
with what you were doing.
right. Because even with acrylic, if it's already dry and you need to add something fine to it, or some type of blend, you have to reblend on your brush
Right.
the same colors, go over
Well, because
it,
it looks
and
like
then
it stands out, like it's
because
not
it's
supposed to be
dry,
there.
because it's wet on dry, so you still have to do a wet combo on top of it.
Well, and do you remember in the thing when John Turman, I think it was his name, his first art teacher, when he met his first art teacher, the John Turman? It was Bob's art teacher. And when Bob met him, he said he could tell he'd already been painting. Like he'd been painting, he'd been loving it. And so he really didn't want to change how he did things. And a lot of people in class would stop and go look what Bob was doing.
Right.
Go look what Bob was doing. And that's how him and John became friends, because he's a big part of the whole show.
Well, the friend, the guy that
Yeah.
was in it, the only one
Yeah.
friend. Yeah.
No, there's two friends.
Two friends.
Yeah, John and Dana.
It was Dana. That's what I was thinking of.
Dana.
Anyway,
John
we
was
will get to that. You
Yeah,
guys
sorry. Well,
hear all that.
I brought that up because he came before the Bill Alexander. That's all.
Right. But anyway, with the wet on wet, my notes say I would just want to get the names. Was it Franz Halls, JMW Turner, and John Singer Sargent were ones that mastered it. And then in the 70s, it was Bill Alexander and then Bob Ross.
Right.
Yeah. That's just little fun facts. He worked for that Magic Art Company.
Yeah.
And that was a mobile paint.
Sort of like what we
lesson?
did.
It was like a lesson. And yeah, like a mobile paint party, but it wasn't, it was like an actual, considered as like a high art.
Right. Like lesson. A fine art lesson.
Fine art lesson. Yeah. And he invested $1,000 into this.
Okay.
And was like, I'll give it, a year? Is that what he said? I'll give it a year. And if it doesn't work out, I'll just go back to my stable life at the bar and just sell my work there. And I was thinking that was a reasonable gamble.
It was a great gamble.
Right? So he did that with them, or with this company.
Okay, now where did you see all that? Because that wasn't in the documentary.
Yeah, it's in my notes.
No? Huh.
Yes.
See, it's funny what you pick up and what I didn't pick up, because
this is why we both watched.
I didn't pick up that part. I know that's where he met Dana Jester.
It was real quick. Everything between his job working with this travel company and then starting with the Kowalskis was kind of like fast.
Right. Well, I remember watching in it, and then he'd met that Dana Jester, and the Dana guy wanted to, he helped introduce him to Annette Kowalski, and she introduced him to William, the other painter, William
and
Alexander. Right. So that was interesting. Dana was a painter, Bob was a painter, and Annette was a painter.
Right. Annette did floral, I think. And then what did Dana do? Did he do landscape?
Yeah, he did landscapes. Yeah, he was just,
But I think it was, now this is where this bridge between the Magic Art Company and the Joy of Painting on PBS.
So,
did he meet the Kowalskis before that? Before PBS? No, did they get him on there?
Yes, they got him on there. Well, he had known who Alexander was. He knew who William Alexander is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it wasn't till he met Dana and then on to meet Annette. And then Annette realized, well, when she met him, she had lost her son.
Right.
And Bob introduced her back into painting and got her going again, helped her out of her depression. Well, in that thing, she also met, this is how I got it. You may have got it different, but she also met Walt. And in meeting Walt, they were thinking, ooh, Bob's really got something. We need to like bottle this.
I think her
and
and Walt were married.
Yes. But once they met, they were like, oh, we need to bottle this and sell this, because he's gotten my wife out of depression, helping all these people learn to paint, because Bob thought painting was something everybody could learn and everybody should do, sort of like we did with Mai Tai and Monet.
And he had a special way with it.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, Walt and Annette got him a contract on PBS in 1983 to 1994. I have to read this. I have to look down on my notes and read this. His soothing style, encouraging catchphrases like happy little trees, and gentle persona made him deeply memorable. He would speak his instructions as if he was speaking to a woman he loved.
Well, you know where he came up with the joy of painting? Because the joy of sex had just come out.
The book
God. Joy of Sex had come out.
I didn't put two and two together.
He enjoyed that whole part of it. He was like a really big flirt, a really big
concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just lost you, but it's okay. Keep talking.
He would it said use hand gestures. I don't know. Anyway, he was really big into, when he painted, he wanted to talk one-on-one and seductive. So that's why he named it The Joy of Painting, to follow on with The Joy of Sex, which I thought was really neat.
The whole tone was opposite Bill Alexander, the whole German guy, because he was very like German.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Well, and he should have known, I know that him and Jan and Steve moved in with the Kowalskis, which was for like a year and a half or two, because they wanted to get this business off the ground. Once they decided to go together.
And they had to save money.
Right. And to work on it together. They really thought, we'll save money and we're going to do this together. But I think he should have caught a clue personally when the Kowalskis would record all their phone calls with a suction cup on the back of the phone, when they would talk about business things without him, when it was a four-person business. Him, because he married Jan.
It was the two couples that should have always been involved in all the business stuff, but no. Yeah, so the Kowalskis were offering like financial and admin support. And on one hand, it was all very kind and from the heart and stuff. But on the other hand, they were undermining him and all this stuff.
They were about the money.
Yeah, like the phone calls where they were recording the phone calls.
Is there any way with the whole thing where he married Jan? Because she moved in with him.
Yeah.
Because she was part of the business.
You tell it.
No. I'm just saying she was part of the business. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
It was very strange that a husband and wife and a child move in, or a young person move in with another couple.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jan was the lieutenant's secretary or something. That's where he met her in the Air Force. After he divorced his wife, they got together. But it's very strange to me that Jan would move in with another couple.
And wait, where was this? Was this because they moved from Alaska to wherever these people? I want to say Florida.
Might be Florida. I know the Kowalskis.
I didn't write it down.
DC now. The Kowalskis are in DC now, but they all moved in together, and so it was Walt Kowalski and Jan would work together on the admin side of things, and then Annette and Bob would work together on the painting side of things, which led to them having an affair. But what I don't understand is, did Jan know? Did Walt know? Were Jan and Walt doing their own thing? What was the deal?
Yeah, that's right. I think they did say that Walt did know at some point, but I don't know if Jan ever knew.
Well, they had to. They were all roommated together. But Annette
and there's a kid around.
And Annette and Bob would travel together. And I think it would happen while they were out traveling.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So I just had to put that in there.
Yeah. But yeah, that was all like really weird. They went on to make an instruction book together, painted out of the Kowalski's home. Annette took all the how-to pics and whatnot for the shows and the books. And then they had a national audience in 1981 on 10 stations nationwide. Now, this is where we all come in, right? As kids coming home from school, you being forced to watch it and me voluntarily watching it. And in hindsight, knowing I have ADHD now is like so much at school. I needed this like calm down.
Oh, and for me with my ADHD, I couldn't watch him. It'd make me fall asleep. And it just, but it's funny is I was watching him paint and I picked up, I did watch him. I don't know why I didn't turn down the volume. I mean, now we turn down the volume. We listen to our phones. We look at our phones without volume. We do a lot of things without volume. I don't know why as a kid I didn't just turn down the volume and watching paint, because the watching paint is interesting.
Right.
And I have a few techniques of the blending and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I picked up from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
but to listen to him, and I swear I thought he was always high. I did not realize he was doing this on purpose. I didn't realize he was trying to be seductive and talk to each painter.
I thought he was just like a gentle guy like Mr. Rogers, the way he spoke.
Thought he was high as a kite.
He thought he was high.
I did. I thought, well, shit,
Sweet
got out of the Air
Jesus.
Force. And
I might be high for one of these someday instead of drinking.
There you go. You can do that.
We'll see. Well, stay tuned, folks.
Well, what I thought was kind of, I mean, if you don't mind me saying, what I thought was kind of crappy is that Gary and Catherine Jinks were Bob's friends. Like they would paint together. They would go on these road trips together with Annette, and that they would do the flowers. He was known as the tree guy. He would paint his things with trees and things like that. She would paint flowers, and Annette just went in and kind of basically pushed them out. She pushed them out of being his friend, pushed them out of the art scene. She didn't want anyone else to be involved. Her and Bob
was like the beginnings of an abusive relationship where they started isolating him into controlling him, but in the business aspect. It's all these little things started creeping in while they were doing this PBS show and all. They did 400 episodes.
And that would get jealous. See, you're more into the workings of it. I'm more into all the drama of it. Like them having an affair and her being jealous and like, where the hell was his wife? Like, where was she?
They had to have been on the road. They must have happened on the road. It had to have happened on the road.
But the one girl the one lady who was his producer, what was her name? I got it written down somewhere. Anyway, whatever the producer's name was, she was saying that when Annette would come on the scene, it would just be, everybody would be on pins and needles. They couldn't stand her being there. They couldn't stand for her to come in.
She was very controlling and demanding everywhere she went. Poor Sally.
Oh, yeah, she was Sally. That she was demanding, controlling, and she would get very jealous. And so
I do remember
laugh
that.
And joke with him. So yeah,
because I do remember her saying that like whenever Annette wasn't coming on set, the set would be far more relaxed.
Yeah, and he would be a different person.
And another little fun fact is that he always had a sample painting of what he was painting on the side, so it wasn't off the cuff as he was demonstrating.
But I did hear it did get off the yes. But I think like us, it's. The first time you paint it, you keep going back to your original one just to make sure you added everything. But then again, like us, when you've painted the dang thing 16 times, you kind of know where everything goes.
Yeah. And if they don't know, what do they know the difference if it's not the same? Yeah. So they went on to do 400 episodes, sold brushes and paints and paint supplies under Bob Ross's name. And then he slowly was on in many countries around the world and translated in like all these languages. Like it was amazing.
Oh yeah.
But then the Betrayal started coming in. I don't know. Do we have anything more to say before the drama when he starts getting sick?
Yeah. Well, I think the notes that I took is that it wasn't until Bob painted in New York that one time it was like an art show, and he was at this art show, and they did not realize how big his name was. They knew that they could sell paints and they knew they could sell brushes, but they did not realize, the Kowalskis did not realize how big he was until this art show. And people were in the hundreds just standing around wanting to
They
get,
were like, it was like a cattle line to come in.
and they were like crowding him and surrounding him. And, I think at one point they said that women were trying to rip his shirt off and, get a hold of him and touch him, grab a piece of hair. Just, they loved
would
him
ripped
so
off
much.
a wig maybe too. I don't know. Oh no, I think it was later.
Well, did you get the part where his son said that every so often he goes to have his springs tightened? Because he loved hairstyles, and that wasn't really his hairstyle, but that made him known, so he kept it. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I thought that was funny because then he wanted to change it, but like he just couldn't.
But he was so inspirational to so many people.
Even myself.
Oh yeah. Well, and the lady who was at 92 when she started watching him, and she did her first art show at 94, and she wrote him and said, "Hey, I'm an accomplished artist at 94 years old," which is absolutely amazing to me. She did her first art show at 94. She sold paintings.
Right.
Maybe I'll have to be 94 before I can sell some more.
I mean, hopefully things will change where we don't have to be dead. Jesus.
But yeah.
Come on, folks.
Well, I know he always wanted to do a kid's show.
And he did. Well, he did one episode while he was sick.
Well, he wanted to do it, but the Kowalskis, his thought process was, you're gaining lifetime, like you and I. We watched them when we were kids. We grew up buying Bob Ross paintbrushes. You grew up buying Bob Ross paint, or my aunt and uncle gave them to me for Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, we were a whole nother generation.
A whole new audience.
But the Kowalskis didn't want them because they were children and they couldn't buy anything in their mind.
Yeah, that's right. And they're right. But I mean, they would get money off the
show,
show, though.
We grow up and we still buy his stuff.
Yeah, then you have lifelong fans.
Right.
But still, I don't see why business-wise, why the Kowalskis would turn it down, because they would still be getting paid from the show.
Right.
No, Bob gets paid from the show. They only get paid from the supplies and the branding stuff, like the things.
At that point.
The merch.
At that point, yep. And there was a part in there that he, and in all of this, in between all of this, his wife kind of ends up getting sick and dying. So she gets sick and dies. Again, I want to know if she knew. Did she know?
I know.
Did she know?
But I wonder, once she moved, I wonder, the quality of their marriage. Yeah. She had to have known. Somebody had to have told her.
She did now. We don't know.
Well, she knows now.
She knows now.
Yeah. And what was it? The next thing is, as Ross approached, he had lymphoma. He came down with lymphoma.
Yeah.
And then he wanted control of his legacy to go to his son, Steve, and his half-brother, Jimmy Cox. He allocated 51% of his estate to his half-brother and 49% to his son, Steve, and he died at 52 years old in 1995.
Well, and he should have started seeing that things weren't going to go his way personally.
Well, that's why he made this, though.
But what I'm saying is what he did to the Jinx. What he did to the Jinx couple is because the Jinx couple, they were the flower painting people, right?
What do you mean the Jinx couple? The Kowalskis?
No, there was the Jinx. There was
Artis.
Artis.
Missed out a whole
Jinx.
couple this whole time.
Hang on. What is their name? She's Catherine, and you knew them. Catherine.
Oh, yeah, I wrote their names down.
What's their names? Catherine.
I don't know.
So bad. I feel really bad. Gary and Catherine Kowalski.
Yes.
And the thing with them is their relationship, because so in this, the reason I keep bringing them up, Dana and Bob, those are the only three artists out of all the people he knew and all the people he went with. Those are the only three who weren't afraid to speak in this documentary, because every other artist that was out there did not want to speak in it because they were scared that these Kowalskis were going to sue them. That's when
Dana stated that.
Yeah, when Annette came out with this technique book on painting flowers, she literally stole it from Catherine Jinx. Like pages, they took pictures of their portrait in the same chair.
Like all of it. It was like a facsimile.
Word for word. And it really hurt Gary
Yeah.
for sure, which he was a hoot. You remember listening to him? He was a hoot. Watching him and his wife sit there and talk. He was like, yeah, it was the 70s. She's like, no, honey, it was the 80s. Yeah, everybody was screwing everybody. So, honey, we're going to skip that. And it was just sort of like, he was like, freedom.
That would be a conversation for the Kim and Todd show, me and my husband.
Exactly. It was like, hush. She kept trying to bring him back. But the thing of it is that really hurt them when they came out with that book because they thought Bob was their friend. Well, little did they know, Bob didn't know anything about it. Like, he had no clue she was that evil and that, I mean, he knew after it was out, but he didn't realize all that was going on.
That might have been one of the major red flags.
That's why he gave his parts to, because the sicker he got,
brother and his son. Yeah. Because, the Kowalskis ran BRI, Bob Ross Incorporated. They ran that, and it was legally under their name. And I guess once Bob died, those legal aspects, but then in his will, he writes these percentages.
Well, in his will, he wrote percentages, but before he died, Annette kept wanting Steve to go back and have his dad sign this. They wanted to do a memorial for him. She was just lying because when he read it, they wanted control of his name. And that was one thing Bob, before he died, like Steve said, he never heard his dad scream or yell. And his dad was screaming, "You cannot have my name. You cannot."
And they would bully him while he was sick over this with phone calls.
He was sick and dying. So did you catch the part where he married his nurse that he knew for only 3 months?
To try to screw them over. So it would
to try to screw them over and keep his name? Yeah. But right after he died, that's when they filed a lawsuit. And the uncle and her signed over their portions.
The first lawsuit I have it down here. This led to Steve's failed 2017. So maybe this one was the second.
This was the second because right after he died, that's when they filed lawsuit against the wife and the brother. He didn't know it. So when Steve went to use his own name, he wanted to use his own name with the Weber Paint Company.
Right.
Because at this point, Weber has now pushed out Jinx because they had their own line of paints. They had their own line of brushes. And Annette and Walt were like, hey, if you want to keep doing business with us, we're going to get twice as big as they are. You need to let them go. So they pushed him out. From the way I understood it, they pushed him out. And Steve went to use his name and they said, nope, you can't. Your last name's Ross. We own it. So that's when he went digging in files and went digging in stuff and found out he gave his uncle 51%.
Right.
Gave him 49%. But it wasn't till their deposition that he found out that his uncle signed over all his rights and his stepmom signed over all her rights to the Kowalskis. So Steve had nothing.
I don't even know if this half brother's alive or not.
He is. He doesn't want to be filmed on this show
because
he looks like a jackass.
Should be shunned.
Yeah,
I have a loss of words over that.
But think about it. This guy's name is Jamie Cox. He's no relation in the sense to the Ross side. Right. So he could care less if the name gets used. Right. What he doesn't realize is that name could have made him and generations after him wealthy.
Maybe he just didn't know.
He was scared of the Kowalskis, so he just signed everything over to the whatever it was, BI something, BRI.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sounds like
maybe they could have bullied him. They could have they might have blackmailed him or something. I don't know what his past
they blackmailed him with wanting
to
sue him for everything he had.
Yeah.
And he thought he was going to lose all of his stuff.
But because even
at least talked to his
later, even like I said, even in 2017, Steve brings us to the table again and a new lawsuit to claim the rights, which was dismissed. I don't know why it was dismissed. What the reasons were in 2019, and then it was, to give BRI full legal ownership, and then Steve ran out of money to push it, and then that's just where it settles now. So anytime
but
you
did you
see
catch
anything for Bob Ross, it still goes to BRI, and the Kowalskis are still alive, and they still own BRI.
Well, no, they've given it to their daughter.
Well, now she's a
that
heathen.
too. She is, because she's the one who did all the other stuff, like the costumes, the.
That's just my opinion. I'm not.
But
The
did you
almighty
see the
or
part
anything.
where Brett effing? Oh, that's what it was. I'm sorry. We go back up. The first
Okay.
lawsuit, when they sued the brother, the half brother, and the wife, they wanted all of his paintings he ever painted in his entire life.
Yeah.
They wanted everything from
All
his
of it.
home, everything he'd ever gifted. They wanted every
They
painting he
wanted
had out
every
there.
nook and cranny.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after he died, they kept it quiet. They
They were
invited
very
no one.
thorough with their like greediness and ownership of
Oh
everything.
yeah. Well, they invited no one to his funeral. There was
I
only
know,
like 30
isn't that
people.
horrible?
Yeah, one of his best friends, that Bob one who taught him to paint
There
the
would have
first.
been a
No one told him.
nationwide vigil or something
There would have been.
huge on PBS or.
And then they never even showed up. So, but after all this, did you see where the guy in Germany, their head person in Germany, it's Brett effing? He was the distributor for BRI.
And then, yeah.
And he walked in to one of their warehouses and realized they were copying Bob Ross's name. They had somebody sitting there signing his signature just like he did.
They had it was like a sweatshop of painters.
Yep. Well, they were all becoming certified Bob Ross painters.
Right.
They had to be certified, but they had to sign a contract saying they would use no other products and they would mention no other artists ever.
Right.
And they would never tell anyone they were Bob Ross painters.
Like, and then that one guy would come in and sign
all the names.
Bob Ross on all of them.
And the only person who is allowed to verify if it's a Bob Ross painting or not,
Annette,
is Annette. And that brings me to, I saw a painting. It was on there. She held up a picture. It was of the beach and a palm tree and the light. It wasn't his.
He never did that.
No.
But it says Bob Ross on it?
But it says Bob Ross on it. It says Ross. Isn't that crazy?
Gross.
But she said it was her, it was his. She guaranteed it was his.
Oh my God.
And that's when
people, there's they have no shame.
They don't. No. And that's like the son. That's what kills me about with the son. When he wanted to use his name, that's when the Dennis Cap got involved.
And this poor kid, and well, he's not a kid now, he's a grown up, but I mean, you could tell that he feels like heartbroken and bitter, and that there's, if you go down, that there's more to say about this rabbit hole. He tries to just.
Well, that's where this Dennis Cap comes in. He's the son of Weber, like the guy who started Weber, Mr. Cap. He took over his dad's company. He's like, no, this is not right. You're a different person than your dad.
Yeah.
We should be able to market Steve Ross. We should be able to market you, not so much your dad. But the Kowalskis somehow own the name Ross. So Ross. It doesn't matter that he's named Steve and this is Bob.
Well, I mean, there's many loopholes. Products. There's many loopholes if he thinks about it. He could use his first name and middle name, or he could use his birth mom's last name. I mean, there's ways around it if you want to do it. And I feel like just to stick it to those people, he should do whatever he can.
But I think they spent all their money trying to get the name back. Because honestly,
I know, but
if you heard Steve Elliott, just say his name's Steve Elliott. I don't know what his middle name is. But if you heard the name Steve Elliott, you would not associate with Bob Ross.
No, but
prior to watching the thing. In
today's world, you can talk about it. There's the documentary. There's a fan base there's many Bob Ross people know who Steve is because of this documentary, because of even the fluffy one on YouTube. So I don't feel like it's that big of a problem anymore in this day and age.
I think Steve was felt guilty. Because he didn't talk to his dad for many years. He didn't want to follow in his dad's footsteps. He wanted nothing to do with the painting business. And then he came back around, had a change of heart. And then his dad gets sick and he dies.
Right.
So now he's living in this misery
with this nightmare.
Right. I should have listened to my dad. I should have paid attention. I should have.
But it's okay. You gotta move on. But anyway.
If you're stuck in that and shit.
If he can't get past it.
Well, he has to be a little screwed up because, again, he went to live with another couple.
Right. As a kid. with
as a kid.
shit going on and like weird
Exactly.
phone stuff,
Right.
recordings.
I'd like to know how old he was. I would love to know how old he was.
I want to say, I don't know why, they might have said it, but in my mind, I'm picturing him at like 10. Does that
I don't
make
know.
sense to you? No, I think he
No,
was
I was
like,
thinking more 13 or 14. I'm thinking more of a teenager.
yeah, but like old enough to know and know
Well, yeah.
that it's weird whenever one has to like separate in other rooms to have a family discussions and stuff like that,
Right.
and know that that's weird to live with another family. And he thought it was weird that they were living with
Yeah.
another family or another couple. They didn't have kids, I don't think. Or
No.
I mean,
Well, they did because their son died.
and
And
the
now they've
daughter,
handed it
you
down to
said,
the
now has
daughter.
a thing. So I
Yeah.
don't know where I guess their kids were in the house too. They had
I would assume
mentioned
so.
nothing about the Kowalskis. I don't know.
It was a
Maybe they
very
did.
weird documentary. While I enjoyed it I think it could have been laid out a little bit better because you don't know, like he got a divorce and you really don't know he married Jane until
It's
later
like
down the line.
it's a little blurb and it kind of goes back and forth a little bit.
Right. And then
And a lot of these documentaries do. You'll find out, like even this one that I did with my friend, you guys will find out when it airs. You know, I had to rewrite my notes in chronological order because the whole documentary keeps going back and forth.
Crazy how it bounces back and forth. It's
Yeah.
crazy how. Well, and did you see, so the part where they said Annette would be jealous and they were standing behind the van and they were kissing. It didn't look like Jane, his first wife, and it didn't look like Annette.
And I don't
Kowalski.
know who that.
I don't know who that woman was. So who the hell was she?
I don't know. But like that lady said, it was the 70s. Actually, no, it was the 80s.
It was the 80s.
So the 70s was free. Well, I mean, there was still drugs and some lingering 70s in the 80s, I guess. It was early 80s, so it was just coming out of it was just merging out of the 90s, so it's trailing in.
Here's the thing. One, we're older than Bob Ross. Okay.
Really?
Two, when he was big
Can't do math.
and meeting people and knowing people and all that. Well, yeah, he was 52. We're older than he was at the time of all this. We're older than he lived to be, I should say.
No, we can't be older than him because we were watching him when we were kids.
We're older than what he lived to. And not only are we older than what he lived to, when we were doing Mai Tai the Monet and people would recognize us and we would do these paintings and we would go out in Hawaii and people would know who we are and all this stuff.
Just so people know we were the first ones to be doing it here.
Right. We were the same age as him at that time. At the time he was coming up and doing these paint parties and doing these things, or not so much paint parties, but these painting
Instructional paint. Yeah.
We were doing the same thing at his age. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
We were the same.
Yeah. At the same age. Yeah.
At the same age and we were all doing things.
Well, I'm glad we.
So you can see how some of it could get screwed up.
Yeah, but I'm glad we did it our way.
Right.
Yeah. And things have changed. I mean, like it's much easier and you have more freedom and accessibility to market yourself. So you have more control nowadays. Like back then, but I don't know if it would have been a slow burn because it's not that part, like this admin and all the technical stuff, that's not him. And it's not us either, but somebody's got to learn to do this so we can do this.
Right. I mean, my problem is I can do that side, but I can't be creative. So if you want me to be creative, I can't do that, but I can do that without, so that's where mine overlaps. I need to get some sort of rhythm of, I paint for 6 months.
He would have been able, it would have been a slow burn because all of this stuff would have come slower, or maybe his son it just would have been him and his son or something. If this was to birth from our time now, like, the whole reason
I don't think he would have gone over as well in our time.
No. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Because he was PBS was a big show. We didn't do PBS that much.
Yeah, no.
We don't do PBS that much now.
No, but if he was to do it now, he would have internet and
he would have internet.
But I'm saying.
But here's the thing: there's so many people that do that. And there's so many different ways to paint now. When I was growing up, that's the way you painted. You painted happy little trees. You painted things. It's more whimsical now.
He was one of the path
Oh yeah,
makers.
he forged the path
makers
for
of-
sure.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
just don't think I don't think he
Yeah.
would have been the same now.
Well, I mean, without knowing it, they forged a path for branding artists.
Oh yeah. That was
I
amazing.
mean, there was
I mean,
John
that was
Nagy. John Nagy did art books, and I'm sure thousands of other artists put out art books. But I mean, they mastered it. I mean, all the supplies,
right.
the painting, the show. Now it's like the games and the Chia Pet.
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
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 Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were pioneers in like this whole thing. In my eyes, I mean,
They were. But
but
if you look at social
you
media
know, they
now,
did it
that kind of painting
wrong.
doesn't. Sorry.
No, they just did it. Yeah, they just didn't do it. I mean, when you talk about branding today, it's a much nicer thing.
I think, like I said, even with social media, there's so many social media artists out there, but people want the quick. Okay, his quickness was great, but people don't want detail. They want whimsical. You know what I mean? Like there was a time that you did detailed, like he does, you know, the house and the trees and stuff like that. I think a lot of people now know that there's different types of art, not just because everybody had that painting in their house
Right.
that looked like a Bob Ross setting with the wheat growing and, you know, the little daisy flowers in the field with the blue
type
ribbon.
of landscape
You know what I mean? Yes.
has now evolved into like a Kincaid painting.
Yes, I'll give you that. Give you that.
Right.
Yep.
And I remember being in Akron, Ohio, and that he was in like the late 90s, and like everybody was gaga over a Kincaid painting.
Oh, yeah.
This documentary film, it draws attention to like raises ethical questions about legacy and stewardship, but I like to.
Well, I hope people
also,
have learned from that.
Yeah, I hope so. That was like the back road to get to a better place for sure. In closing, let's see, despite legal challenges, Bob Ross's legacy endures through BRI's merchandising empire, but this
don't buy
commercial
anything from them.
success has weighted against concerns that it contradicts his original intention to spread joy and creativity. Not only does it contradict his intentions, but it contradicts where this money should be going.
Right.
So,
well, you should own your name.
As fun as it is, you know, go buy your wig separately, make your own palette. Don't buy the kit.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Don't feed into this machine of black rabbit hole.
Right.
All right. So hang on. Cheers. Fun fact. Oh, we already talked about that. He lost one finger, pre-painted an example he had on the side, and the perm, the hair wasn't natural. And then towards the end, when they were forcing him to keep painting while he was sick, he had to wear a wig.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. They just wanted to spread joy and accomplishment to people. Oh,
So,
he had that little squirrel guy in his pocket. The squirrel guy. He had a name, too. I forget.
I didn't even see that part.
Oh, yeah. Because he would, you know, with his mom's encouragement of wildlife and everything, he would rehab wild animals and stuff. And he would bring this little squirrel on set.
So
yeah.
I know this is your question, but I have to ask it. Would you have hung out with him now? At our age, if we were all the same age, if we were all 50 years old together, would you have hung out with him? If we all were born in the same generation, blah, blah, blah.
I'd hang out with him. I would hang out with him just to pick his brain and stuff. But as
Dude, my husband gets so jealous about that. If he's that flirty.
I don't know. I mean, you know, you would have to at least once just to know.
Oh, I would love to know his personality because they say he was a lot of fun. I think that would have been the fun part. I don't know that I could have taken a paint class from him. Although looking back, a lot of my techniques are from him. I'll have to give him that credit. You know what I mean? I picked them up without knowing I picked them up.
Mm-hmm. So. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to hang out with him like on a regular basis because he's just too
much.
Like I
don't know if he was that way.
Friends attract squirrel friends. So, I mean, it's a personal thing.
But I don't know if he was that way offset. I don't know if that was his TV persona.
I don't know.
That would have been interesting.
And who knows if he would have, like, flirted with all of us.
Oh, he would have. Did you see the crowd he was flirting with? Grandmas to young people to, Oh, yeah, he would have.
Right. Oh,
Heavy-set ladies to skinny ladies to Asian ladies.
Everybody.
Korean ladies. Yeah, everybody.
He was an equal opportunity flirter.
Exactly.
Oh, and we already talked about this question. what would you borrow from his style? And we were already like talked about that. We do it. We do like the
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
double paint on the brush. We do
The blending.
the
Oh yeah.
stippling, the blending, the wet on wet. Yeah.
The knife work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just started kind of messing around with the palette knife. So I just sold a sailboat painting that I did like entirely of palette. Is your pineapple
That's
and
all palette
palette?
knife. Yeah, the whole thing. The
Oh,
whole
I
thing
didn't
is
know
palette
that.
knife. I have some
Cool.
big palette knives and I have some little bitty palette knives.
I need to get the tiny
pretty cool.
ones, yeah. And then what's the vibe of his studio? What do you think his studio vibe is?
Oh, a shit show like the rest of us.
Cluttered
Oh, a cluttered mess. I can't
mess.
imagine.
Especially the way he
painted.
painted, because he would whip,
Yeah.
because he'd
Well, he
dip it in
painted
the
in a kitchen.
turpentine and like,
Remember? They
whip.
filmed in a kitchen. I think he didn't
Yeah.
really have a studio. I think he just was a type that painted where he sat. Like if he was sitting
Yeah.
in the living room, he painted the living room. Sat in the dining room. You know what I mean? I don't think he really had I personally don't think he had a designated spot. He loved it so
Well,
much.
Right. Afterthought. All right. Would you hang out with the artist? Studio vibe, borrow. Well, personality. Which part of their personality is impossible to ignore? I mean, just that he was calm and flirty.
Right now, we're gonna paint this one picture.
Can't even.
I can't even do it. I
Excuse
have
me.
this brush. Should have brought a brush.
I couldn't. I mean, I can go the other way where I can make it goofy.
Heck
but
yeah,
that-
I could do goofy,
well, like,
but I
you know,
can't
like
imagine
how I instruct my palm leaf.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Well, my
just
tongue's
to
out.
say it, when I used to paint at the bar, couples would
Yeah.
come, the boyfriend of the husband, and the husband would always put like a, draw a penis on there or something, right? And then the wife or
dear
the
God.
girlfriend would like punch him in the arm and like, and then they would paint over it. And then I would tell them, if you hold it, you still win. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, if you hold it to the light, you can still see your drawing. And they're like, oh my God, yes. But then we would do like a palm tree at my verbal instructions. And this was to keep their attention, because we're in a bar. They're drinking. It's like corralling wild cats between the breaks and all that. And you're saying school things like 1, 2, 3, eyes, and then the parents that are there, they're like, eyes on me.
Yeah.
With their martinis and margaritas. And then I would say, okay, we're going to make a spider at the top of this stick, at the top of the trunk. And then you're going to start at the base and pull out to the tip.
There you go.
And
pull
then
out at the
that
tip.
keeps, and then that brings them all back.
Well, mine was always when you go to paint your trunk of your tree, and some of them would paint them really wide and some of them paint them really thin, so long. I'm like, ooh, some of you girls are much luckier than the rest of us. Like
that's a cute one.
Kind of a little phallic symbol. You like, depending on how big they made their tree trunk.
I'm always more natural. Like, oh, well, some of them, it's okay. Not every palm tree is perfect or straight, but like on that tone, your tone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to add that in.
There you go.
I think that's it. I think that's it. Do you have any shows or activities or anything you're going to be at this month?
No, not right now. I do not. We're getting ready for Mardi Gras season, so I have a couple things I'm working on.
I only have, let me check. I have it. Yeah,
I'm working on a lot of
Bellows.
Christmas ornaments.
Oh, okay. I'm painting at Bellows on October 11th from 2 to 4. And we're painting, you can go to their website. I'll put the link in the show notes, and we're painting a Halloween pumpkin in like blue and black.
I did a mermaid the other day. I did a team building for a local hair salon here.
I did one for a hair salon once too.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Was it in the salon?
No, we did it at the house, at Marie's house. So
ours was in the salon.
Yep, that's kind of fun. It's fun.
It was funny. They didn't care, so I was like, all right, kind of
let's do it.
Work.
All right. I hate to end this. We need to say goodbye because my phone is on 4 now.
Okay. All right. Well, and there you
go.
have it.
Can we do Frida next? Huh?
Well, yeah.
Can we do Frida?
Let's say our goodbyes.
Okay. Thank you, Frida.
Wait, oh, yeah. Yeah. So that is Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal and Greed. We'll have all the links and whatnot in the show notes. And next will be
Frida!
we'll do Frida Kahlo.
And her one eyebrow is just
I
intrigues me.
know. Well, I mean, that's it's a natural DNA thing for that culture and all that. And
And
they
you could
weren't
pick
into,
that thing, just
I
pick
don't know,
that sucker out. Just
wasn't a thing.
that made her who she was.
If we met her, you'd have to just sit on your hands,
Hold her down and
at yourself. Don't keep your
Kim, get the razor.
don't do it. I could see
All
you
right.
leaning across the bar table.
Exactly.
Hang on, let me just do it. I can't take it.
Girl, shave that thing. You know, funny thing, I've never picked my eyebrow. I've never done my eyebrows.
You've never plucked your eyebrows.
I don't have any.
I had some thick eyebrows. I did in the 90s. You know how it was like the thin eyebrow thing? And
Yeah.
there's like a little spot in here. I got a little bald spot from back in the day.
Oh, I've never. They've
Stupid
never
fashion
been
eyebrows.
done. And
Well,
when I draw
good.
them on, I look like I got caterpillars because they don't look right. Whenever I
Because
get my
you
makeup
don't.
professionally
Well,
done,
yeah.
and then they feel like they're just like Frida's.
They don't. Oh, so when you so they don't they don't clean it up before they do that. The makeup artist.
No.
Oh, so
don't have
maybe
any.
next time have them shaped and then you go. I'm just saying. All right. Aloha. Till next time. Bye-bye.